My name is Dylan Carrano. I've been with Associated for about half a year now. I got started in June. Originally, I used to work for Markham LLP. They're an accounting firm all over the country. And I was hired by Associated to come in and help with the integration with CMiC, which is our new accounting software. I think the big reason why CMiC was chosen in the first place was the Procore connector. There's an integration between CMiC and Procore that allows project managers to do what they need to do in Procore, see their budgets, make decisions based upon that. And those transactions that come in from Procore that get onto the budget and show all the reports, they get originated from CMiC. So it makes life a lot easier when CMiC and Procore are in sync.
The integration a little bit more, I see Procore as an outsider. I see Procore as a project management component. I see plans and specs and meeting minutes and that type of thing. And to an extent, there's some budget information there. But explain how the Procore actually interfaces with the CMiC software.
Yeah, a lot. So in CMiC software, any commitment is considered to be either a purchase order or a subcontract. Now, all of those commitments, those get originated in Procore. So Procore will take a commitment, bring it into CMiC, and allow any user in CMiC to create a request for payment or an RFP and allow them to create the subcontractor invoices. Mm-hmm. So when a cost becomes then committed, which means we've invoiced that cost, now CMiC will take that cost and will bring it back into Procore, put it in their budget. So now all project managers, not only can they see what the budget was, but now they can see actual costs in real time. Committed costs.
Okay. Yeah. And cash flow too. So you're feeding back into the requisitions and what they've been paid, the percentage complete.
Yep.
All that type of thing.
Yep. The over, the under. It's a very interesting tool. I'm glad that I was able to work in this environment to see this actually happening. Yeah, I think the big issue with the prior software we had was it was not synced with Procore. So there could be transactions that are in AccuBuild, but they're not in Procore. Yeah, a lot of those compliance holds we can house in CMiC also.
Payment is concerned.
Right. Like if there is a compliance hold, if a subcontractor didn't get their COI in time, you won't even be able to make those available for payment in CMiC. It helps us keep track of, who's in compliance and who's not.
You've had the opportunity to visit with a lot of different companies and no doubt a lot of different industries. How does Associated stack up to other places that you've visited? And can you bring any...
Well, Associated's the best.
Well, we know that. But I'm asking, have you seen things in other companies where Associated could adopt some practices that you've witnessed that maybe we could benefit from?
Yep, absolutely. I think they're still coming down the road. Like I know one big thing I would love to kind of get Associated doing is stepping away from checks and actually sending electronic payments or EFTs, electronic file transfers. So eventually one of these days, checks are kind of hopefully be limited, and it'll allow for a much quicker amount of time in between when the check is cut and when the vendor actually receives the check. Mm-hmm. So that'll help speed up the process.
Well, it also goes a lot of goodwill from the vendor standpoint too.
Yep.
That's cutting out a week worth of float time that they can take advantage of by putting money in the bank. What are other things that you've seen that would be, if you had a wish list of things to adopt, what might those be?
So, like I said, EFT setup is definitely number one. The way that CMiC handles their lien waivers, they can kind of put together a specific template, and it'll be a standardized template for any type of lien waiver that we would send out. Mm-hmm.
I know Associated puts a lot of effort into employee training and human relations related stuff and all kinds of benefits that they offer. How does that strike you versus other companies that you've worked with?
Well, Associated is the first company that I've ever worked for that had I would say, more personalized training. We actually have a training tomorrow that I'm going to be attending, and it's a lot about soft skills and managing relationships, managing client relationships, and even getting along with your coworkers too is a huge aspect. If you show up to work every day and you enjoy the people that you work with and you work for, you're going to enjoy the job more often, and it'll make you motivated better to if you got to put in some extra time, you have no problem doing it because you really care about the people that you work for.
Who does that training?
Bob Sandler.
Sandler, yes. Yeah, and that's been a mainstay of Associated for quite some time.
I guess so. I was kind of introduced to it when I kind of met with Joe and Chris and Mike and talked to them about me coming along here. Something that Joe brought up was, career development, because I was wondering, I knew how it was at Markham. There was a, huge HR department. You come to Associated and it's really just Cynthia. So like, what else is there? And then that's where Joe was explaining to me that there's, monthly trainings on soft skills and people skills and things like that. And, that's what they use to develop your career. And I was like, okay, all right, great. I will definitely be involved in those. And the first Sandler meeting, I think, was in July for me, and I've been attending ever since.
Hey, thanks a lot. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, no
Great
problem.
talking to you, learning
You as well.
a little bit about you. Great. Thanks a million.
All right, thank you.
Bye now.
Thanks.